Before he died, Audie Murphy revealed something that shocked everyone in Hollywood. The truth about 9 famous stars who lived double lives. He was America's most decorated war hero, a man who had seen death up close, faced 240 enemy soldiers, and walked away with every medal his country could give, including the Medal of Honor. But when he came to Hollywood, Audie carried something heavier than medals, a heart that had seen too much pain, and eyes that could recognize when others were hiding their own. He understood secrets. He lived with them, and maybe that's why, according to those closest to him, Audie seemed to attract people who carried hidden truths of their own, people whose lives glittered under the spotlight, but whose hearts lived in the shadows. Those who worked with him say he never judged. He didn't gossip. He simply understood. After all, when you've seen men die for nothing, pretending to be someone else doesn't seem like such a sin. And that's how, over time, Audie learned the truth about some of Hollywood's biggest names. Actors and actresses who lived in fear that if the world ever discovered who they really were, their careers, their lives, everything, would be over. Rock Hudson, Cary Grant, Anthony Perkins, Raymond Burr, James Dean, Marlene Dietrich, Barbara Stanwyck, Montgomery Clift, Tab Hunter. 9 names, 9 lives, 9 secrets that could have destroyed them. Audie met Rock Hudson when both were the shining faces of post-war Hollywood. Hudson, tall, charming, the man every woman wanted. But Audie saw through the smile. He saw the tiredness in his eyes, the same exhaustion he had seen in soldiers who wore masks just to survive another day. Hudson was forced to live a lie, to marry a woman not out of love, but to protect his image. Everyone around him knew, but nobody dared to say a word. Audie once said, "He's a good man, just trapped in the wrong story." Then there was Cary Grant, Hollywood's perfect gentleman. Smooth, graceful, witty. But behind that elegance was a private life that didn't fit the fairy tale. For years, Grant lived with another actor, Randolph Scott. The world called them roommates. Audie called them honest men in a dishonest town. He admired Grant, not for pretending, but for carving out a quiet space where he could be himself, even for a little while. Anthony Perkins, the man who terrified audiences as Norman Bates in Psycho, was another of those Audie noticed. Perkins lived in constant conflict. His performances felt too real because, deep down, they were. He was a man split in two, public charm and private suffering. Audie once said, "He's fighting a war no one can see." And maybe Audie understood that better than anyone. Raymond Burr, the man who played Perry Mason, the perfect image of justice, honesty, and strength. But off-screen, Burr carried a secret so big he had to invent entire fake marriages and even a dead son just to keep Hollywood from finding out the truth. Yet despite it all, he built a quiet, loving life with his partner, Robert Benavides. 30 years of loyalty, completely hidden from the world. Audie called that real courage, the kind that doesn't win medals. Then there was James Dean, wild, rebellious, untamed. Audie didn't like him at first, thought he was all posing. But soon he realized Dean wasn't pretending to rebel. He truly didn't fit in. Dean lived freely, refusing to be boxed into any label. He loved who he loved, and he didn't care what people thought. Audie came to respect that. Because in a town full of actors, James Dean was one of the few who was actually real. Marlene Dietrich. Now she was something else entirely. A woman with the courage of a soldier and the heart of a rebel. She wore tuxedos, defied gender rules, and loved whoever she wanted, men or women. During the war, she risked her life to entertain American troops, earning medals for bravery. Audie once told a friend, "She's braver than most men I've known." She didn't hide, not fully, and that honesty made Audie respect her more than almost anyone in Hollywood. Barbara Stanwyck. Tough, beautiful, fiercely independent. On screen she was unstoppable. Off screen she was just as strong. Her marriage to actor Robert Taylor? Pure Hollywood fiction. The real love of her life was a woman, her publicist, Helen Ferguson. Audie knew, but he never said a word. He just admired how she carried herself with quiet dignity, never letting the lies of the industry define her truth. Montgomery Clift. Brilliant, sensitive, fragile. His performances tore straight through the screen. But the pain that made him great was also what destroyed him. He couldn't live freely, couldn't show the world who he really was. He drank, he crashed, he broke. And Audie saw himself in Monty. Both men haunted by things they couldn't speak about. Both living behind masks that grew heavier with time. And finally, Tab Hunter, the all-American boy. Blonde hair, perfect smile, adored by teenage girls everywhere. But behind that image was a man living in constant fear. A single rumor could have ended everything. When a scandalous story nearly exposed him, his studio scrambled to protect their golden boy. Audie knew how dangerous that kind of lie could be, not just to a career, but to a person's soul. Years later, when Hunter finally told the truth in his autobiography, the world embraced him. Audie would have been proud. 9 names, 9 lives, all connected by one thing. A secret they had to carry because the world wasn't ready to accept them. And Audie Murphy, the man who faced bullets, bombs, and death itself, saw something in them that most of Hollywood never did. He saw bravery, not the kind that wins medals, but the kind that wakes up every morning and decides to keep living the truth quietly, even if the world doesn't want to see it. Maybe that's what made Audie Murphy's final confession so haunting. Because when a man who faced death without fear says that these were the bravest people he ever knew, you have to believe him.